Right now, deep inside your brain, your ventral tegmental area is misfiring, flooding circuits that were built for survival with a chemical that now works against you. And the neuroscientists who mapped this system admit they cannot stop the loop once it starts. But high performers have found one way to interrupt it, and by the end of this, you'll know exactly what it is. Most people think dopamine is the reward chemical, the one that fires when something good happens. That's not wrong. It's just dangerously incomplete. Because dopamine doesn't fire when you get the reward, it fires when you expect one is coming. And your brain cannot tell the difference between a genuine opportunity and a manufactured one. It responds to the signal, not the reality. Which means right now, while you work, scroll, check your phone, your ventral tegmental area, your brain's deepest dopamine engine is running a loop it was never designed to sustain. Expecting, anticipating, releasing. Coming up empty, and immediately expecting again. We're going to get to how to interrupt it. But first, you need to understand what it's quietly doing to you. The loop works like this. A trigger arrives, a notification, a headline, a half-formed thought about something unfinished. Your VTA, your brain's chemical ignition point, fires dopamine into your prefrontal cortex. That hit says, something important is about to happen. Pay attention, your brain sharpens, your focus narrows. You pursue the signal, but modern life is engineered to ensure the reward never fully arrives. The feed refreshes. The inbox fills. The next video autoplays, so the loop doesn't close, it just resets. And each reset costs you, not in a way you feel immediately, in a way that accumulates invisibly in the tissue. Every incomplete loop trains your cortex to treat anticipation as the goal, not satisfaction, not rest, not deep work, just the next signal. Over weeks, that rewiring shrinks your ability to sustain attention on anything that doesn't spike the loop. The work that actually matters, the conversation right in front of you, the thought you almost had. We're getting to the interruption. But what the research community found next is the part that disappears before it reaches you. The researchers who first mapped the dopaminergic reward pathway, the ones who built the framework every neuroscience textbook now borrows, have been unusually candid about what they discovered. They cannot break the loop from the outside. There is no pharmaceutical that interrupts the anticipation signal without also flattening motivation. No behavioral protocol the field agrees on. Every intervention they've tested either suppresses dopamine too broadly, killing drive along with the noise, or hits the wrong segment of the pathway entirely. The loop, once conditioned into your cortex, runs below conscious reach. You don't decide to start it. You cannot will yourself to stop it. What you can do, and this is the part that quietly disappears from the public conversation, is change the architecture the loop runs on. But it requires a rule most people have completely backwards. Here's where it gets uncomfortable. The standard advice is mindfulness, meditation. Slow down, sit with yourself, observe your thoughts. And for certain people in certain states, that genuinely helps. But for someone already deep in a conditioned dopamine loop, meditation can make it worse. When you sit in silence and try to observe your thoughts, your VTA interprets the quiet as deprivation and fires anticipatory signals to fill the void. The loop doesn't stop. It turns inward. You end up chasing thoughts instead of notifications. The restlessness doesn't leave. It just loses its target. That's the second threat. The interventions most people reach for when they feel fragmented can accelerate the fragmentation. The silence feeds the loop. And most people never make the connection because they quit meditating before the pattern becomes obvious, convinced they're doing it wrong, not that the tool is wrong for this problem. The rule high performers have quietly figured out is called loop closure. And it works because it runs with the circuit's own logic rather than against it. Your VTA fires when it anticipates a reward. It settles when it receives one. The problem has never been dopamine itself. The problem is triggers that fire the signal and deliver nothing, loops that open and never close. Your brain never gets the completion chemical that follows genuine, finished work. So the intervention isn't to suppress the loop, it's to close it deliberately. High performers front-load their day with one specific kind of task, something with a hard, visible finish line, not a project, not a goal. A task with a defined end state reachable in under 90 minutes. Something that can genuinely be declared done. When the VTA fires anticipation and then receives real completion, not a notification pseudo-reward, not a half-finished thing set aside, the circuit learns a different shape. Over several days, it begins to prefer the closed loop. The anticipation still fires, but now it points toward work that can actually end. One closed loop trains toward the next. The circuit rewires itself in the direction you aim it. Tonight, before you open your phone, write down one task. 1. It has to be completable in 90 minutes or less. It has to have a visible, physical end state, a document saved, a decision made, a list finished. Do it first, before anything pings, refreshes, or interrupts. Let the loop close on something real. But the VTA isn't the only region quietly rewriting you without your permission. There's another structure, one that operates even further from conscious reach, and the damage it causes doesn't show up in your focus. It shows up in your memory. It has already started. And the question is how much of what you remember right now is still accurate.